And I've got a friend who's a doctor, she's a brilliant woman, and we were having one of those lovely catch-up chats, you know, when you haven't seen a friend in ages, and you've got the kettles constantly on, and you're putting the world to rights. It was one of those, and it was lovely. And we ended up talking, I don't know how we got onto this subject, but we ended up talking about how much toilet roll we use. I think I'd been bragging. When my boyfriend's round at mine, we can rattle through a 9-pack in a week. And she said to me, "You're using too much." And I went, "What? Is there like a shortage?" And she went, "No, but you're using too much." And then she went, "Dry, wet, dry." I said, "What?" "Dry, wet, dry." Dry, use a bit of toilet roll. Wet, one of those moist toilet tissues. I don't know what that mime is. That's scary because I'm quite clearly doing somebody else's arse, aren't I? It's good to see I'm very thorough, though, isn't it? So that's wet, and then pat to dry with a bit of toilet roll. And I said, "You know what, I'm 36, I've been doing this a long time. How about I just stick to my usual way?" And she said, and I hope this is how she talks to her patients, she said, "Your arsehole will fall off." But you know, there are those times when you run out of toilet roll, and obviously the worst time to run out of toilet roll is when you really fucking need some toilet roll. Give us a cheer if you've ever used something else because you had to. Oh, quite a lot of you. What kind of things have you used? Shout out. A sock. Who's that? Give us a wave. Where you love, there you are. Happy as bloody Larry there, aren't you? Okay, so you used a sock. Did you do it like that? Oh, did you put it on your hand? Oh, like the saddest ever glove puppet. I don't want to. I don't want to. A sock, well done, pet. What else have we used? Shout out. What was what was that? A shower head. Oh my God. Did you have to like? Oh, did you have to paw your cheeks? Oh my God. Was that in your own shower? Was it in your own shower? Oh, that's all right then, good. Just imagine it. Oh no, it's just at me friends. Oh, he's here. Oh, hiya. I didn't tell you about this, did I? So we've got a sock and a shower head. What other? Spare pants. Somebody who said spare pants. Somebody here. That's a good answer. It's another good reason to carry spare pants. What was the fella over here? Sandpaper. Do we believe him? No. Is it? What was that, love? You were on the beach. And what? And that's where I know that's where sand comes from, but I don't know if there are many DIY places on the beach. Oh, you know that beach that's got all those B&Qs. Any other things we've used? Your hand. Any others? What was that? Your boss's performance review. High five, fella. Well done. Excellent, excellent work. There was a lady the other day, and I use the term lady as loosely as it's possible to use it, said that she had used a sandwich. I don't know about you lot, but I can't eat Nutella anymore. You told me yours, I'll tell you mine. When it happened to me, I was in my flat, and I thought, sort of thinking about the other rooms, visualising the other rooms, thinking, what on earth could I use? Never been posh enough for kitchen roll, but I've always had tissues in. But I had run out of tissues at the same time, and I was thinking, sod's law, what on earth can I use? And then I remembered that I'd recently treated myself to some flash wipes. Yes, it stung. Yes, it was very lemony. It was also the cleanest I've ever felt. And to be fair, the advert does say that they're for stubborn rings, so... But I did a show in Belfast, and a fella shouted out an answer, but I couldn't quite... it was just a noise, because he had such a strong accent, I could just make out a noise. I just heard, wah, wah, that's all I heard, wah, wah. And I said, what, you wiped your ass on a werewolf, did you, love? Turned out what he'd actually used was wire wool. I think I'd rather take my chances with a fucking werewolf.